And we're posting. Hey everybody, what's going on? Ryan Williams here, VP at Thankopia, and I hope you got your notebooks ready because we are about to kick off our May premier training event with none other than the Facebook extraordinaire himself, good friend of ours, and local guy. Well, we're going to call him local. He's actually from the East Coast, but we've kind of adopted him here in San Diego. Local guy, marketing expert Nick Unsworth is going to be coming out here and sharing some just amazing content. You know, Rich and I have been talking to him quite a bit over the past couple of months here recently, and we've been watching some of the newer things that Nick has had going on. Phenomenal stuff, just amazing things that he's got that it's building, and he's created a whole nother company that I'm actually pretty excited about. Some of the things that they have going on over there. So Rich Cook is supposed to be joining us. He recently moved into a new spot, so I don't know. Maybe he's having some technical difficulties with the Mac. I know we had some of those earlier today. So we're just gonna get started because we're here. We have Nick. He always has amazing content to share. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring him out. Nick Unsworth, how you doing, my friend?
Good, man. Good.
We got the effects rolling today.
I'm new to Google Hangout, man, and I like the effects. I like the golf clap, but yeah, I'm just really fired up to be here, man. I appreciate the opportunity and looking forward to sharing what I got with you guys. So.
Absolutely. So you know what? It is actually, and I gotta let's see, check the feedback here. Okay, Aaron says we're good. It's Friday afternoon, and we normally do these later in the evening, but I'm kind of excited about the time slot today, Nick, because it is Friday, and it's the last day in our pay period, and people are going into the weekend to experience the freedom that they've worked so hard for. So it's kind of I like it. It's kind of a fun day. Plus, being at New, we probably have a lot of our international members that are able to actually catch this live and don't have to wait for the replay. So I'm excited for them as well. That's really cool. So Nick, I know I have some questions I want to ask you, as well as I know Rich has a couple questions that he wants to ask you. I'm also going to be fielding here in a little bit some questions from the field, and yeah, I love technology, man. You know what? We were talking about this not too long ago. Rich and I'll probably talk about it here a little bit later on, but we actually just got back from my daughter's wedding in just outside of Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay.
And we were driving around and going to different places. I lived out there for about 4 years, so I'm pretty familiar with the area. And it was funny because not funny as in lame, but funny as in interesting and just kind of different. That things are so much different there. They're way more laid back. I actually enjoy the environment a lot of times myself because it's just slower and chill, and everyone's just kind of taking it easy, and there's not a lot of high anxiety going on. But it really, driving around some of the smaller towns of 3,000 people and whatnot, it just kind of took me back to a day where we didn't have, cell phones and Bluetooth stuff sticking out of, every part of our office. And whereas you called someone and they were either home or they weren't home. And if they weren't home, well, yeah, you didn't know where they were. So as Rich gets connected here, why don't we start with, I know you did a training for us that was amazing, one of our best ever back in August of last year. We still get rave reviews about that, and I know a lot of people on our team that I know personally have implemented a lot of things that you shared with us then. And just myself, I've noticed that a lot more things are trending towards Facebook and social media and these other things. So maybe a good place for us to start is to just kind of, catch us up to speed with what's changed and where are things moving. The last time we all met here, you were doing a lot of fan reviews and contests on Facebook, and that's how you were gaining followers and creating value and content for people and those. So maybe we should start there, just kind of talk about that, and then where things are moving to now that you've been able to see and experience success with.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. I think for for most entrepreneurs and even business owners, entrepreneurs, and the main benefit behind the Facebook marketing, or I think that one of the most exciting benefits, is that you can build up celebrity-like branding within your niche in a very short period of time. So when we did the training last August, can't believe it was almost a year ago. It's crazy. Time just flies. But a lot of what I was teaching are, how to get reviews, how to position yourself on Facebook, ultimately to build up your authority. So I think what would be kind of cool is to think about this session and to really do like a deep dive on building authority, because the way I look at it is that when you have authority in your marketplace, you can absolutely dominate, and it's authority as a leader of Nucopia. It's authority as being an expert within a particular niche or a craft. I mean, you could be the best dog groomer and have a local business in a local town and be the best at it and position yourself as the best. You can have the best cupcakes. It doesn't matter what it is. It really has to do with just how you position yourself. So when I think about that, I actually have like 10 steps. If you're down, I can kind of roll through these 10 steps and give like a succinct little training about building the authority. And then there's a lot of different Facebook stuff that kind of weaves into that. Is that cool? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be great, because I feel like we have a lot of people that are coming into Nucopia that are really excited about our trainings and our products, and they're excited about making more money, more freedom. But what I've also found, Nick, is that you wouldn't think this, but we still have a lot of people that are coming in that are fairly new to the industry, cool. to the internet even. And so I think this would be great for you to share with people, because I feel like a lot of people will get overwhelmed and they get scared, because it's like, I'm Bill Wilson in the middle of Little Rock, Arkansas. Yeah. I don't, who knows me? No one knows me, and I think people feel that that's a negative in their business. But
sure.
So I think this would be great.
Yeah, cool, man. So I think what's so exciting about it is that, just to speak in terms of what's possible. And I'll just do a real quick overview of my story. But I had been an entrepreneur, had some success, had lots of failures, which it's never a failure. It's just how you describe it. But lots of scenarios where I was up and then I was down. I was up and I was down. And I had one point in my life where it was 3 years ago, freaking 3 years ago, almost exactly 3 years ago, and I was $50,000 in credit card debt because a business I had failed, and I was completely fucked. I mean, I was so screwed. And I was looking for something. When I was trying to sell homes on the side, and was just, this was the first time in my life I literally not only didn't know how I was going to pay my bills that month, but I didn't have any more room on the credit cards. I couldn't get extensions. I had no freaking options. And so what I did was I had been learning internet marketing. I had been learning internet marketing, online marketing, Facebook marketing, all these things, but I hadn't put anything into action yet. And I feel like that's part of the rite of passage in this industry. A lot of people are learning content from you guys, but a lot of people are buying products and things. But the whole thing is that you hit that wall where you hit that boiling point where the pressure is great enough where you have to just do something. And it doesn't matter whether you're trying to get your Nucopia business off the ground, you're trying to be an expert in your field, but you want to get yourself to the point where you have that major motivation to get something done to make money. And for me, it was, shit, how am I going to pay my bills, right? So one of the steps in my 10 steps to build authority and attract clients, ideal clients, is to, number one, literally, it has to do with making a decision, committing, and focusing. And now this sounds real basic, right? We've heard this a million times, but what happened is that in that moment, I literally decided that I was going to be a Facebook marketing expert. And think about that. Who was I to call myself a freaking expert, right? A guy 50 grand in debt calling myself an expert. So it's one of these things where I made the decision, and I think that everyone needs to literally we have to believe in ourselves and believe that we can do it before anything else is going to happen. So made the decision in my head and got some really great advice where I had a buddy that said, I was like, man, who am I going to consult? Feel a little uncomfortable doing this. And he was like, well, two things. One is that anytime you're uncomfortable, you're probably close to making money. So like that with what we fear, or that with what we resist or are uncomfortable, you want to head towards that. So I was like, screw it. I'm gonna be, I fear. What up?
Sorry, guys. I had Wi-Fi issues when I was down. So.
Oh man, now he's up, man. Now he's up on top. Look at that.
All right, sorry, guys. Let's go ahead, Nick.
Cool, man. So I was just talking about how to build authority and to create expert status. And so in my story there, I had made the decision to be the Facebook marketing expert. And at that point, the other advice I got was from my buddy saying that, who should I coach, or how am I qualified to coach other people? And he says, well, dude, you can coach people that are further behind than you are. So when I was looking at it as 50 grand in debt, and I was like, I'm going to call myself the Facebook marketing expert, it's like, if I went to the local market, I can find people that know so little about this stuff that I'd be a hero to. So I didn't need to go out and coach these huge companies. I just need to find people that knew less than me. So basically, if you're going to build your authority and you're going to build your branding in your market and with Newcopia, then the cool thing is you got to make the decision inside your own head first, and then you got to commit to following it through and taking action. And the best thing that I ever did was just focus on that. So as soon as I threw the stake in the ground and I was like, I'm going to be a Facebook marketing expert, I just commit to doing that, and I focused. So I cut out all the other distractions. So it's like, if you're with Newcopia and you find one area of the business that you love and a strategy that you love, just drill down on that and be excellent at it. So the next piece, or the next step of building your authority out, is really about building your branding. And I think, in Ryan, you asked about kind of what's changed, what are trends that I'm seeing and where things are going. And never before has it been a better time to build your own personal brand, because your own personal brand will serve you inside an organization like Newcopia. It will serve you if you're an expert at a particular craft or a skill, or if you do video marketing or SEO or whatever you get good at, or if you're great at like recruiting or getting customers, whatever that is, you build up your name, and no matter what you do in life, you're going to have a following. And when you really break down critical like leverage points in business, you've got knowledge is a big one in today's day and age, and like in having content and knowledge is huge. And then personality online and things like that. But then the other big leverage point is your network. I mean, if I look at Rich Cook and think about your success and Newcopia's success, the fact that you have tons of contacts. Like, we were just on the phone the other night talking about, the photo shoot you're going to do and all these other things you're going to do, and it's here's a guy that's given and given and given and given, and just loves people and always connects people, and he's always looking out for someone else, and that's why people freaking love this guy so much, and why I love him so much. But if you think about it, he's in this driver's seat right now with Newcopia because of his network. And so when you build your personal brand and you build that out, you're able to network at a faster pace, you're able to get recognized for things, and people start to think of me as, oh dude, he's the Facebook guy. If I was the social media guy, I wouldn't be known as well. It's too broad. So you always want to make sure that you're narrowing your niche too, so that people understand how they can refer you, they understand what you do. And I think about people like Marie Andros. She's the video marketing queen, right? She just drilled down to one particular thing, and that's how we know her. So building out your own personal brand. I always get people that say, I love the idea of building my own personal brand, but what happens if I ever want to sell the business? And that was my fear too, until I built my personal brand, which allowed me to build a business fast, and then I still sold the freaking business, and I sold everything except for my name. I sold the application, I sold the technology, I sold the IP, everything, but I just licensed my name, and I licensed some of the things that we did with it. So to me, that's the only objection, and if I can prove that you can still sell a business without it, then your best bet is to focus on the personal brand. And another point to that is I've got a business coach, and this topic came up, and she goes, she says, why on earth would I ever want to sell a business that I love? Right? So if you think about it, if you're building a personally branded business and you're doing what you enjoy and you're doing what you love, then why would you ever want to sell that? So, and that's something to think about. Whereas, like, as I continue to focus on my personal brand, we're never going to be able to sit still. Like, we dream of making $1 million and then just like retiring one day. But if you were to sit on a beach for more than a month, you're going to get restless. You're going to want to work. You're going to want to feel like you're making an impact in something. So carving out your personal brand is big, and a couple little steps on that too. If you can picture on Facebook, you've got that timeline cover. And what I want you to do is I want you to think about that as that's your billboard for your business. Now I'm referring to a Facebook business page, and on the timeline cover, one of the things that I did in the very beginning, so if you're a beginner, this is huge, is that I would take pictures with other people who are where I wanted to be. So even if you look at my timeline cover today, I have a picture with me and Mari Smith. She was the most notorious Facebook marketing expert at the time. She had all the books on it, and I had a picture with her. And so people would start to associate me with successful people in pictures, and I feel like the biggest cheese ball taking pictures with someone. But it works. It's branding by association, right? And Rich, if I see it tonight, I'm going to take 3 pictures with you and just make myself look cool. And the other thing, it's having the timeline cover, having the pictures, and the big thing is making sure that that your message is clear. So whether if you're full time in the copy, obviously that's great. If you're an expert in online marketing or something, but you want to make sure that your tagline is absolutely clear and simple. And I think about it as if someone were driving on the highway, they're doing 75 miles an hour. If you're a cooker, you're probably doing $110, and you're zooming down the highway. And if you see your timeline cover, and in a blink of an eye, could someone just get what you do? And one of the biggest challenges I see with clients is that when they go to explain what they do, it's a freaking mystery because it's so confusing. And if you were to literally just nail down what it is that you do in one sentence and be able to express that verbally quickly and easily so that people say, oh, I need that, or I want that, that's really key. So I call it the money equation, and it's just who you are, and then it's who do you help, and then it's how do you help them. And that right there is going to help clean up your branding so that people understand what it is that you do. So in my case, I just say something like, my name is Nick Unsworth. I'm a Facebook marketing expert. I help online entrepreneurs build up authority and attract ideal clients with simple Facebook marketing strategies. And so, if you're an online marketer, it's clear it makes sense. And let me see what else I got here for you in step 2. So step 2, drilling down on that as far as branding goes, and then you also want to make sure that you spend a couple bucks. I mean, when I started, I spent $500, and that was expensive for what I got at the time. But I made my timeline cover look the same. I made my Twitter background look the same. I made my blog header look the same, and it's such a simple adjustment, but it makes you look like you're a real business. And so by having decent design is one of the most important things. And Ryan, you asked what's a big trend? What's something that's hugely important on Facebook? And literally this year in 2013, this is what my business coach. This is one of her things that she likes to throw out there, and I agree 100%. But in 2013, graphic design online will have more of an impact than copy. Fucking think about that. Think about that. That's crazy. The written word, right? And I'm saying that graphic design will have more of an impact than copy. So someone would buy something based on the aesthetics of the way that you look online. So I think about a guy like Cooker here. It's taking photos, having cleaned up photos will dramatically change your business. It exudes professionalism. It makes you look the part, right? And I mean, with the new website I'm rolling out, I'm putting so much emphasis on the design because people are going to take one look at it and say, "Oh my God, I got to hire this guy." And that's what we want for you. Is we want to make sure that you're think through, graphic design. And I would put, more resources on your design than a lot of other areas of the business. And are you guys? This makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm stoked.
Dude, design is key, man.
I'm sitting here trying to write as fast as I can.
I want that paper to light on fire. That's my goal.
I want to pause you right now. I want to just pause. And, hey, sorry that I'm coming in so late, and Ryan, I just want to make sure we are recording this, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think I can see his face. Are you kidding me? I know we're recording this. Thank you, Ryan. I'm telling you, man. He's the wind beneath my wings.
The wind beneath the wings, dude. I like it. I like it.
Oh my God, really? No.
um, and so like I'll crank to step 3 now. So like step 3 in building authority. And again, like the whole reason why I love talking about authority is because like I think about leverage points. So like I was getting at, like networking is one of the fastest ways to grow the business, as you guys know. Like this is the backbone of Nucopia. And there's that, and then it's like the positioning. And I mean, those are two things I've found that in my business with people that I've coached, those are the two biggest leverage points to create income fast. You know, that's when, you know, I'll take a guy who's a social media expert, help him with his graphic design, help him with how he positions himself, and that's where he goes from 4-figure contracts to 5-figure contracts, like literally just by positioning. So that's why I love this topic of authority. And anyone can do it. You can be brand new like me and just get started and just roll, you know, and get your first customers fast and grow your business. So in step 3, it's taking massive action and getting customers fast. Now, again, massive action. You know, we've heard that till we're blue in the face, but there's what I want to encourage you to do is that, and this comes back to you know, our buddy Michael Burnoff, who, you know, Rich and Ryan, we all, you know, study and we hang out with and get to know, and I know he's done some trainings with you guys, but it's one of the things where I used to always set these big ass lofty goals, and we know what happens when we set big goals like that is that we never get them. And then we never do them, and then we have it buried in our subconscious that every time I set one of these goals, I'm just not going to do it, and it's okay, and that's how you're justifying things. But really what can change everything is that if you literally just come into it where you make the tiniest little fragmented goal, baby steps, and like little things, like I have you know, a coach that she's like, listen, just do something. Do 50 sit-ups a day and commit to it, right? And what ends up happening is that just by making something tiny like that and doing 50 sit-ups a day and doing it every single day and committing to something, even if it's 20 sit-ups a day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is, but as soon as you start committing to it, you start to feel good and you start to feel empowered and you start to get shit done. And the way we look at it is that how you do anything or how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're the kind of person that it's like, I'm going to start something and stop it, well, no wonder why, you know, if that happened with you in sports when you were kids, you started and then quit, or if that happened in school, or if it happened in whatever, there's no wonder why you start the business and stop it. So the whole thing to break free out of that, and this is it's something that I struggled with when I got this business going, is that I need to figure out how to start and follow through and actually make money with this thing. And the best thing was that to get clear on what I wanted to do, and then to get clear on taking action and just getting customers. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing more important than making sales. You know, it's kind of like Mark Cuban says, sales cures all, right? You could suck at business in so many different ways, but if you have sales, nothing matters. And you know, some of the best companies, I mean, they grow by just getting sales and they figure everything else out. So, you know, I would look at it as, of course, you know, you want to focus on growing and recruiting and all the things that Nucopia teaches. But if you're also an expert and you're, you know, building another business, then I would just say that focus on getting customers, because customers create case studies, and those customers that you can then leverage those stories to build more authority over time. And so when I think about in the local market, if you've got a business that, you know, where if you sell marketing, coaching, and education, you know, directly to businesses and use some of the strategies that Nucopia teaches, then I actually would love for you to start locally, because we all want to gravitate towards like online and towards like the laptop lifestyle. But if you were to literally just go to bni.com and find a meeting in your area, you could walk into a BNI and you could literally get referrals every single week for your business. You could even go there as, you know, whether you're a full-time Nucopia person or you have a different business, you go to BNI and you literally can build relationships. I mean, Ryan and Cookerman, if you tested this with 10 people in your organization and you challenge them to go to BNI and just go there, commit to it for 90 days, the growth that they would have in their businesses would be ridiculous. And because the whole point of it is, it's about 20 professionals that get together once a week, and they sit in the same room for an hour once a week. It's very efficient, and then they just pass each other business. And that's the whole purpose. And so anyway, I've had tons. I've had over a dozen clients that they've done that, and they've grown their business because that's a easy way to get customers fast. And then as soon as you get one, and then the next, and then the next thing you know, you're sitting proud, you're excited, you've made a few bucks, and then that fuels the rest of the action. So it's like I was saying with the sit-ups. If you just take little action, little baby steps along the way, that shit will snowball and get bigger and bigger. So getting the customers is key, fast. And then in step number 4, you want to get what I call anchor clients. So it's the same concept of like commercial real estate, where you have a strip mall and you have an anchor tenant, which would be like a Walmart. So like if a Walmart's in the strip mall, everyone wants to be next to Walmart. So the whole thing is that if you get an anchor client, you can leapfrog competitors. You can blow out your authority really, really fast just by positioning yourself with one client. So, so quicker. In my case, I went out and I just reached out to this guy, Frank Kern. And we all know, Frank is like a major, major authority in internet marketing, right? And the way I looked at it is that if I worked with Frank, people that saw that they don't know who I am, right? But if they knew that I worked with Frank, they would trust me because of association. And so I just reached out to the guy. I knew that if I worked with him, my business would explode, right? And so I reached out to him on Facebook. It was so easy. I just asked. I was like, hey, man, I see 7 different ways I can help you with your Facebook page. And I'm an expert, and here's why. And here's how I can help you. And I'm not going to charge you anything. And so I ended up getting the guy on the phone. I get him on the phone. I lay down the strategy. He's impressed, and I started working with him. So we did this whole bus giveaway thing. And as soon as that happened, I started marketing the fact that I was working with Frank Kern. And Frank was saying nice things about me on his page, and I would screen capture those and run ads to it. And I drove over 750 leads through a marketing funnel where I just said, check out what my client, Frank Kern, is saying. And when people just thought about it as like, holy shit, Frank Kern is the celebrity in the industry, and he's Nick's client, then that means Nick knows what he's talking about, right? And what's playing in their head is they're thinking, if it's good enough for Frank, it's good enough for me. And that right there I did multiple 6 figures just from that campaign, because everyone kept coming in and saying, hey, I'm seeing what you're doing with Frank. How do we work together? And when I talk about authority and positioning, what's so badass about it is that I wasn't charging, $1,000, $5,000. I literally doubled my prices. I started charging 10 grand. 10 grand per 30-day engagement with someone, helping with their Facebook marketing, and it's all because of the positioning wrapped up with having an anchor client. So it's like, if you've got, an influential person in Nucopia that signs up on your team, if you've got, an influential restaurant, whatever that is for your particular industry or niche, that can just, grow the business fast. And it's kind of like thinking about, how like websites will say, as seen on, Fox or Wall Street Journal and this and that, or our clients include Sony, MTV. It's the same concept of social proof. We just want to create that for your business. And guys, any questions up to now? I know I'm just kind of blowing through the steps.
No, I think it's really good. And one of the things I just want to point out, in case anybody missed it, was, there's so many, I love what you said earlier, Nick, because there's so many things that come across our desk, if you will, on the internet, and different opportunities and shiny bells and whistles and all this stuff. And the thing that you talked about was basically, in the beginning, you got to decide that this is what you're gonna do, and and then you start doing it. It's work. There's no magic bullet around here anywhere, So I thought that was really key for people, because that's the non-sexy side of the sexy business. Is that, oh, by the way, you have to do this every day. It's not just going to happen overnight. So I think you're doing a great job. One thing I have a question about. this doesn't come up too often, but since you mentioned it directly, I'll just go ahead and ask the question because I'm sure there may be a few people out there that are thinking of this, maybe not. But when you talked about being full-time in Nucopia and using that leverage as far as the anchor client is concerned, or the anchor business, and so I guess Top Gun's going to go ahead and fly over now since I want to talk, but awesome. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, so you mentioned if you had an influential person join your team in Nucopia or sign up with you, whatnot. There's in this industry, and unfortunately, just it is what it is. But from time to time, you have people that won't want to talk about someone else that's in the business or whatever for fear of losing sales to that person with they call it sponsor shopping and crap like that.
Yeah.
So I personally believe that you find who you're supposed to find. Our leadership are great about this. They're always asking, how did you find me? How did you find me? And making sure that they're referring business back to the people that are out there that maybe aren't as popular. But so do you have any advice for people of why they don't want to fear using that, because it is such a major leverage point for them? And I mean, bottom line at the end of the day, I guess, is you just have to have faith in yourself and let it go and use the tools that you're teaching them. So can you speak to that?
Yeah, totally. I think that and I'm very familiar with the industry, and I feel like that worrying about that is really a limiting belief within their own mind about worrying about losing someone else to a different sponsor, because it's just a feeling of inadequacy inside, and really that person just needs to gain confidence fast. And the best way to do that is to bring in more reps to build your own authority and to be a badass inside of Nucopia. And it's like, when you think about building authority, is that when you're the person that's taking action and building up your team, it's like there's no wonder why certain leaders continue to snowball the business and they make it look effortless, like Michael Jordan, dunking a basketballs, because they have this level of confidence that whether it's obvious to everyone around them, but they just have that level of confidence where they're just building their business, and it's easy because they're attracting the right people, because they are so confident that they can help people. They're so confident in the products and services, and all that confidence, that's all built and all comes from little things like progress and taking the steps. And and some of it, I think, is, as an entrepreneur, I mean, some of it is literally just having blind faith in yourself and your opportunity, because there's some level where you just can't teach some of that. And I think of like where entrepreneurs break out and become extremely successful is they have that confidence to attract and to be that leader and to build that authority. And then when you are in that position, especially with you guys with Nucopia, people, if you can have people that are coming into the business and they want to be on your team because you're the person in that state that's totally kicking ass, I mean, that's the authority that we're talking about, where people seek you out because they want to be within your leadership. So how do you build up that confidence? I mean, obviously the trainings are key, taking the little steps to get action, to get customers and recruit and all these types of things. But it's just going out and doing it and making the commitment to always get better and better and continue to educate yourself. And that all that builds over time. But you couple all those trainings and you couple it with what I'm talking about here with the building the authority, and it snowballs fast. So.
Well, and I guess you might, another way to look at it is, using this as leverage is like the modern day three-way call, as an example. You wouldn't, in the past, you would never think that if you put someone on a three-way call with your sponsor to gain credibility, that they would run off and go get married, So, right. Again, today, I love that you said that, because, again, I also, too, believe that it's just a limiting belief and a fear. Get out there, like you said, be solid in yourself and just rock it. Quit worrying about it. Right?
Totally. I think we've got a visitor. Hello. Sweet. All right, so I'm going to move into number 5 here. Number 5 is with building authority. Is just I just think of it as over-delivering every single time. And I think one of the biggest shifts in online marketing and social media marketing is that everything's so transparent. So we live in an age where if you don't do a freaking amazing job with your team, and for you guys it could be with your own team, with whether it's training, for an individual distributor, it's it's over delivering to the new person that just signed up underneath you. And so we live in a world where it's like, if your customer service or if your support isn't fantastic, it's so easy for someone to vent, so easy for someone to have negative feedback online. And so the way I think about it is that the concept of over delivering is how you can get good reviews. And before last year when we did the training together, I talked about fan reviews and creating social proof, and if you ever want to get not only reviews, but if you want to get positive testimonials about your business and you want to have other people want to jump into your team or into your business, you really need to think about over delivering in advance, right? So the action step on that is what's something that you can do and engineer into your sales process that is going to make someone just have a wow experience with your business, with your brand. So in my case, anytime I sell a training program or a coaching program or get a new client, I've got my assistant. She calls them on the phone. Within 24 hours, we have a whole process, and she welcomes them. And what's so cool about it is that people in this industry are floored by that the personal attention, and she's super friendly, and they love her, and she makes sure that they have all the information and the logins. And that's one little detail that sets us above, or sets us apart from a lot of other people. The other thing is that we also put into the process an unexpected, it could be a bonus, or just doing something nice for someone unexpectedly. And what ends up happening is that they have that wow experience. So in my case, it'll be, they might buy a particular coaching program, and then a week or 2 weeks into it, they get another phone call that says, hey, we just want to let you know we're going to actually give you this $500 course completely for free, just because we really want to over-deliver with you. And it creates this experience where like, holy shit, that's fucking amazing, thank you, right? But by doing that, you can see how that is all building them up so that they would want to give a testimonial, so that they would want to write a positive review. And if you don't go into it thinking that way, they're not just going to magically want to give you testimonials and reviews and referrals like that. So you want to set that up in advance.